quarantined motherfuckers. Welcome to another episode of Rule of Two podcast. As always, I am your host, Sean, and I've got my partner here with me, Aaron. Give the people a big quarantined hello.
Hello, everyone. Just in case people are wondering, we have actually, we are quarantined, but not together. This is our first podcast where we are doing it remotely. You are in your apartment, across the parking lot, and I'm in my apartment across your parking lot, and we're just taking the necessary precautions. I know we made a little bit of a joke last week,
right?
But just trying to make light, and I think it's needed in this time.
Yeah, and I think that's an important point to point out.
There you go.
Whatever. We are not sick. We are just being cautious.
We're just doing what the experts tell us to do, and exactly. I think that's what everyone should do. But
and if anyone didn't know, we live like across the small parking lot and a few doors down from each other, so we're not that far. This is the first time we're recording not in the same building, but we're not that far away from each other.
We're using a tool called Zencastr, not a sponsor of the podcast because we have zero sponsors of the podcast. But
well, if we say their name enough, maybe they
Zencastr. No, I don't think that's the way it works.
But don't we just, like every other word, we just say Zencastr? So I like the episode Zencastr.
Very Zencastr, weird Zencastr.
So new episode of Clone Wars just dropped, and we're gonna be talking about it today.
Hell yeah, we just finished watching it, just like we usually do. But probably won't get this out till Monday. There's a lot of things going on right now. So bear with us as we deal with the quarantine or deal with the social distancing, just like everyone else is. All right.
Or should be doing. On a much lighter note, what I do want to talk about for a second, dude, is our listening numbers. And I know you know more about that than I do. So why don't you hit him with some facts?
Yeah, I was shocked to see one time when I logged into our dashboard that we just passed 1,000 listeners, like, I don't know, a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. And we've been doing this for like 2 years, right? Off and on, kind of a month here,
off and on, yeah.
3 months here. Though this time we've been very consistent, right? Like most of our episodes have been released since in the last 2 months. Well, 13 were released before, 12 were released before January. And since then, we've released 8. So we're on a steady trajectory going forward here, and I was shocked to see that we're already in closing in on 2,000 listens just after 2 weeks after passing 1,000. So, congrats to us. We're doing great. Thank you to the listeners. It's
absolutely.
It's
awesome. I mean, I don't know about you, but I never thought that we would get as many listens as we have. Aren't we? Wait, did I miss it, or did you say that aren't we like close to 1,500 now?
Oh, we're over
1,500. Okay,
we're close to 2,000 now.
I never
closing in.
Ever thought it would get anywhere near this. I mean, we're just doing this for fun, really. We're not even trying to get a certain goal of having so many people listen to it. We're just doing it because we enjoy doing it. Never even thought we would get to this point. So huge thank you to everybody who out there who's listening, who enjoys it. Keep listening in. We're going to keep releasing them on a regular basis as often as we can. But a big thank you to everybody out there who enjoys it.
Yeah, it's a little like inspiring, I guess. Like, I don't know. We're not doing much in terms of marketing. We're not doing much in terms of promoting or anything like that. So thank you to everybody. Like, it was a shock to see that well over half of our listens are on via iTunes. And that just means we know that it's not our friends, because we are a primarily Android-based friend group. So
that's true.
Very interesting
about that. Yeah, that's a really good point. I didn't think about that, dude. I didn't know that. Damn.
So again, thank you. Feel free to start writing in, emailing questions. Tell your friends, and yeah, we'll keep churning out the content, especially now that we're in self isolation.
We don't have shit else to do, right? We should probably get our website in better shape, maybe.
It is trash.
It's
So
not
yeah, it's
good.
not
It's
the
not
best.
good. It's
It
not
is
good.
not the best.
Not good. All right. Clone
Episode
Wars.
4, right, is where we're
Yes.
at. Episode 4, Unfinished Business. That's the name of the
Unfinished
episode.
business, the continued fucking Echo story, which I'm really getting tired of. I'm not gonna lie. Like in the old Clone Wars, there would be, certain episode arcs that would focus on one particular story, maybe two or three. I feel like at the most. There was never like a. I mean, it's been a while since I watched them, so I could be wrong, but this just feels like it's going on too long, man. I don't know. Is Echo really that important that they're focusing all of their plot and story around this one fucking character when the assumption is that there's not going to be 20 some episodes in this season like there was in previous ones.
Yeah, and that's to me why I think I'm feeling the way I am about this, and I think you as well. In terms of we know it's limited, right? So let's get on with it, man. I want to see some things that I want to see. Like Order
100%.
66 and stuff like that. That's coming up, and we don't have a whole lot of time. This episode 4. If there is indeed only going to be 12, then we're already a fourth of the way through, third of the way through. It's crazy.
Yeah, and it makes me I'm disappointed even more because I know that it's Dave Filoni who's doing this series, and we love Dave Filoni, right? I mean,
Love
he's great. He's a huge Star Wars fan, and it's even better that he has the power and say so behind what's being created in the Star Wars universe. At the same time, what's happened so far with this season is not what I'm looking for. Not to say that other people aren't, but I want to see, I mean, like you said, I want to see more of like what the lead up to Order 66 was really like what things went on, and not even the lead up, because I guess we kind of really know a lot about the lead up, right? I mean, there's some behind the scenes stuff we might not know, but more about the direct aftermath and maybe even during. Like we get little, like during episode 3 they don't show a ton of it really. I mean, we get like what, 10-15 minutes of not even that,
No, not
probably
even.
not even probably less than 10 minutes of like what went on during Order 66, and we get no insight whatsoever as to what the clones are, what's going through their minds when this is happening, right? Like this whole series has given us a very deep dive into the personality, the thoughts, the
The mind
consciousness
space.
behind all these clone troopers, and I want to see what that's like while this fucking shit show is going on, and I don't know that we're going to get it, and it makes me sad.
But I do have faith in Dave Filoni, and I do think that, he has his vision in mind, and I think he's gonna do
Yeah.
what he can to put that forward, and hopefully it meshes well with what we want. But if not, you know, neither has a lot of Star Wars in the last 15 years. So
Yeah, so what else would be new? But you know what, you're you're right. I do still have faith in Dave Filoni. I overall love what he's done. I believe in his passion and direction behind a lot of this stuff. So hopefully he pulls out something that we're at least mostly satisfied with.
and I think, I mean, judging by this episode, I think he's going to. This episode to me has been my favorite so far. I don't know about you.
I agree. I agree. I mean, you and I, when we were watching it, it was we were expecting one thing to happen and it didn't. I really thought that Echo was going to pull some sort of traitor bullshit, like, oh
Yeah.
no, he's still connected to the, and he still might, maybe, we don't know. I guess there were some like weird looks and weird things that happened. I was like, this seems shady.
To me, I don't think going forward there will be. I think they were doing that to get us to think whether or not he was going to do something like that.
You think
And
so?
the way that they ended the last episode, I mean, clearly they wanted us to make podcast episodes talking about how Echo is a traitorous bastard, right? And we did. We did that.
We
I
did, yeah.
thought he was gonna betray us. I don't know about you.
I I
When I say us, I mean the Republic. Because I mean, come on,
well, yeah, because we're that's not us. We are in the shadows. Okay.
exactly.
Uh, yeah. I mean, I thought that he was gonna pull some traitors bullshit the whole entire time, and he didn't end up doing it. And
I
then
know. Not,
he
not for lack of making us feel like he was actually going to, right? I feel like
100
there was several
100%.
times in the episode where it made me feel like, oh, here it is. Here's where Echo's fucking us over, fucking over the Republic.
Right, right. And then he's got this, he has I thought this was just like a funny thing where he has like his arm is like half machine now, and he's got one of those little tools that apparently every astromech droid has that can plug in to any port on any ship ever. I don't know why they're not like, you know, covering those up or making them
Yeah, just
I don't know,
all the
like
time.
yeah, I mean,
Like,
like take the Apple approach, man. Like make it like
make your own shit.
end to end control. So like some random Republic droid can't come in and just plug into your shit and get all your information and do whatever
You
the
would at
hell they
least
want.
think that when Palpatine takes over, that he would do that, right? He would be Steve Jobs on steroids,
No
right?
shit.
Like
And then
taking
the
control of
combination between
everything.
him and Vader, because Anakin was doing that shit all the time during the Clone Wars. So when he became Vader, you think be like, hey, we should probably plug up these ports or like make them so like they're not like universally accessible. Like this is not a universal remote. You guys, we're
Yeah,
trying to have end to end control over this shit so that nobody else can fuck with us. Maybe we should make some updates. I don't know.
exactly. Like I don't know. It's kind of mind-boggling a little bit.
Right, but
So
now
episode
Echo
4.
Echo has this thing, and like Trench is supposed to be this super intelligent military commander, but he just goes in there, plugs in, is like, "Nope, I'm just gonna make them think that they're doing something cool, but they're not because we're fucking them over." I don't know.
So let's start with the beginning of episode 4 of Clone Wars, season 7. Not episode 4, A New Hope, in case you were confused. So this is, as we said earlier, entitled Unfinished Business. You know, they had to get Echo out, they did, and now they have unfinished business to fuck up Commander Trench. Is it Commander? Admiral? I don't know.
I really, I'm not sure. Good question.
So also the subtitle. Do you remember the subtitle was? I wrote it down in case you
Nope,
don't.
nope.
All right.
You're
It
gonna have
says
to.
trust placed in another is trust earned. And again, very, very telling. We should have seen that and realized, nope, Echo is not going to betray the Republic. You know what I mean?
Oh, I should probably pay more attention to to those subtitles because I
Yeah.
really just kind of gloss over them most of the time.
Same. I never did until we started recording this podcast, and I was like, maybe those are important, and they are. They're actually important. It's kind of weird.
Apparently they have a lot to do with the episode. Also, by the way, it is Admiral Trench, in case you were wondering.
Admiral. Okay.
Yes,
All right.
Admiral.
Well, it
And
was.
and by the way,
Spoilers. It
yeah,
was.
and I definitely want to spend some time talking about that. But this is a guy. He was literally in the very first episode of the Clone Wars.
That's true.
The
I
very
forgot
first
about that.
episode, and we thought he was. Again, it's been a while since I've seen it all the way through, but like in that episode, they quote unquote destroy the ship that he's on. Well, they do destroy the ship that he's on, and presumably he's no more. But joke's on us. He
Maybe they
survived
knew.
somehow.
Yeah, maybe they knew that, like, we as watchers of the show were going to start to watch Clone Wars, but not finish it, right? So they were like, all right, let's start with some of
Maybe
the stuff that's like at the beginning, and then use that in this next one.
that's a
Maybe,
good.
I don't know.
Yeah, you know what? That's actually a good point because I feel like a lot of us probably did that. We started watching it and then didn't get very far, and then started watching this, and we're like, "Oh, wow, interesting." Yeah, Trench. I just saw him a couple episodes ago, even though it's been 7 seasons.
Exactly. All right, so let's get into this episode. What happens? It all starts. I mean, they're obviously questioning Echo's loyalty, right? I was. We were last week after watching it.
Oh,
I don't know about you.
100%.
Yeah,
100%,
and it
100%.
it kind of starts out like that dope ass voice of that one admiral that always talks over the like what's going on in this episode. You know what I'm talking about? I don't remember his name.
Yeah. It wasn't he the isn't he the voice of, Grand Moff Tarkin in Clone Wars? Isn't it
No.
the guy who does the
Oh,
same
Grand Moff
voice as him?
Tarkin. I was thinking Grand Admiral Thrawn in Rebels. I think you're right.
No, no, I think it's the same guy who does the voice of Tarkin in Clone Wars is the same guy who does the, uh, uh, opening voice to the whole "Rebels have blah, 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 blah," whatever.
Yeah,
I'm
that
not gonna try
exactly.
and do it, but
Yeah.
yeah.
So, I don't remember what I was getting at, but they are the episode starts, they're questioning the loyalty, and it's something where it makes sense to me that they're kind of putting us into that mindset because trust is like like one of the themes of this entire episode, right? Does that
Oh,
make
for
sense to you?
sure, for sure.
And it starts, I think, with Echo, like audibly, not Echo, sorry, Tech, like, sorry. It
Tech,
starts
yeah,
with
Tech.
Tech audibly talking about his distrust in Echo to the whole group,
Yeah.
and
Even
he
be
definitely is doing that.
Well, even before that, when, Anakin and, Mace Windu are talking about the whole thing and Echo comes into the room, that's before that, right? And
Yeah, I think so.
they're sitting around the holo map and, like, even Rex is like, "Sorry, Echo, I don't think you're ready yet." And, like, they're all kind of like they all seem a little hesitant to put all of their faith in Echo as far as this mission is concerned.
Because they have to, like, as far as I'm aware, they're trying to uh, beat Trench. Is that like the premise here? Their Echo's already escaped. We have a group consisting of a group of troopers led by Obi-Wan and Mace Windu going into this warehouse, or I don't know, some sort of place, whereas the Bad Batch, they are heading up to Trench's ship, right? And they're trying to stealth their way into Trench's ship, and this is something that
There you
Echo had planned, right?
Right, because up to this point, Trench, we all know Trench is like a military mastermind, and they've been dealing Republic defeats time after time after time after time, and they cannot get ahead of what he's thinking about. Because during this whole time, we find out that Echo's been plugged in and they've been using his consciousness to help form battle plans and give them like the edge
And
somehow.
he was the algorithm that
Exactly.
Trench is always referring to.
Exactly, exactly, and now that they freed him and Trench doesn't know about it, he's still trying to be the algorithm, though he's now conscious and on the side of the Republic, so they're trying to make Trench think that the algorithm is feeding them battle plans when it's actually just Echo plugged into his ship, and they're rerouting the signal to finally give the Republic the upper hand over Trench, which
Exactly.
eventually
Now,
they do end up
one thing
winning.
I don't know if you remember, we talked about this when we were watching it via video chat because again, we're taking the necessary precautions. Anyway, the
Virus.
the ship that they used to get to Trench's ship was actually something that looked super reminiscent of the future Imperial ships that Palpatine rides on all the time in the
R
Imperial shuttles.
right,
I
right.
don't know.
I'm actually looking at a Lego model that I have of Palpatine's, Imperial ship in not Imperial ship because it's not the Empire yet. I don't know what the fuck you wanna call it. Whatever. His transport ship at the end of episode 3 where he goes to, like, get Anakin from Mustafar.
Yeah,
I'm looking at the Lego model right now at my feet, and it looks exactly like the ship that they used to dock
interesting.
onto Trench's command ship and infiltrate
That
it.
is cool. I did
So I don't know
not
where they
know
got
that.
it from or where that came from or how they whatever. You know what else what else bothered me is something that just kind of came out of nowhere is you don't see we haven't seen Obi-Wan at all, I don't think this season, unless I'm mistaken.
No, no, there
And then
is
and
that
then
episode where, Anakin is talking to Padme, and Obi-Wan walks up and knocks Rex is covering
oh,
the door.
that's right. That's
Yeah,
right, that's right.
I like
You're
that. I
okay,
thought
so
that
we
was
do
dope.
see him, okay. But
Mhm.
however, in this episode, at the beginning, you see Mace Windu and Anakin talking to the clone troopers about the plan, and then all of a sudden, you see Obi-Wan and Mace Windu drop out of the clone drop ships down into where all the droids are. Obi-Wan doesn't say anything, he's just randomly there, and you're just like, "Oh,
Oh,
Obi-Wan,
shit.
where the
It's
fuck did he
Obi-Wan.
come from?"
Yeah.
Right. Right. And then additionally, which I thought was super sweet, was Mace Windu's like, "I am Mace Windu of the Republic, blah blah blah, General blah blah blah, and I have destroyed over 100,000 droids. This is your chance to, you know, step down and yada yada yada," which we've talked about this during the last episode where he just in the previous Clone Wars, not the new cartoons but the original ones, where he just destroys like a shitload of super battle droids without even a lightsaber. So I thought that was kind of
Barely
cool that
even
they kind of
trying.
right, but I thought it was cool that they kind of brought that back into it a little bit, and
Yeah,
at least that's the way it
it's almost like
felt.
they intentionally did that to kinda nod back to the
Oh, I would hope so.
Tartakovsky or whatever that guy's name was. We said it
Yeah.
like 3 times on the episode last week, so
It's Kartakovsky, yeah, close, something like that, yeah.
yeah, and I think so they end up going the Mace Windu and Kenobi. They end up going to I don't know what planet they're on, but they're trying to defeat
I
the
can't
separatists
remember.
there, right? And Trench is in his ship trying to command everything. And to me, this is something that I think is an interesting part of the entire episode, where uh so he knows the Jedi are going there, and he ends up calling back it to calling telling his droid commander guy to ask the algorithm what the best path forward is, right? So that's the first time that we understand that Trench doesn't know that Echo's gone. And to me
Oh,
that's a
yeah.
little strange, right?
It
So
right,
the
for sure,
Techno
because
Union didn't report up the chain, I guess, that Echo is gone, that they lost
well,
the algorithm.
did they not kill all the Techno Union
No,
members?
they didn't.
They
They
didn't?
just kind
Oh.
of stayed there, right?
Yeah,
Remember
that's a good, yeah,
um
interesting.
Wat Tambor was like, "This is gonna affect the profit margin of the Techno Union." So, like, it's
That's
like he
right.
didn't care. He just cared about his profit margin. Didn't really give a shit that it was gonna affect the separatists.
Well, did the Techno Union ever really give a shit about whether it affected separatists or not? I feel like
Probably
they
not.
only joined
Yeah,
them because they thought it was profitable.
and I mean that's entirely probably the case. You know what I mean?
Also, in case you're wondering, the planet is Anaxis.
An axis, yes, cool. Thank you. So
No
he
problem.
uh he tells the droid to sorry, he being Trench tells his commander droid to reach out to the algorithm. And now keep in mind, the algorithm is actually on the ship that Trench is on,
Right.
connected into the database or the server or whatever you want to say.
Yep.
So at that point, he's saying, I'm receiving a transmission, and
A trench mission?
trench mission. That's what I said, right? That's just the way to call it because it's coming from trench.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, and who is it? Tech understands like, hey, you can't respond back right away because if you
Right.
do that, then they're gonna know they can trace back where the source of the transmission came from, and
Exactly.
that would be bad because they're on the ship. So
Right.
he routes back what they needed to tell him, uh, saying that it came from Skako Minor, Skaker Minor, Skanko. How do you say it?
Skanko Miner.
Skanko. No, it's actually Skako
Oh,
Minor.
Skako, not Skanko, like skank. No,
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so
Skako
he
Miner. Yeah.
does that, but unbeknownst to Tech, the transmission that he sends is he tells Trench to send all of the droids to Obi-Wan and Mace's position. And I don't know about you, but I was at that point I was like, traitorous bastard. This dude was trying to fuck over the Republic still.
Maybe, but at the same time, the whole entire thing started off with, "I am Mace Windu, and I've killed more droids than you could possibly imagine."
Which was dope.
Like, yeah, which was dope, and even if Echo was trying to betray them by sending all those droids there, I wouldn't be that worried. Like
That's
between
true.
him and Obi-Wan, they could take them out by themselves, probably without any lightsabers. If it was anything like the original Kartovsky, I probably butchering that name, but whatever, the original
Clone
cartoons,
Wars,
which
yeah.
it clearly hasn't been up to this point. But either way, there's a reason that they started off that whole entire scene with "I'm Mace Windu and I've killed more battle droids than you could possibly imagine." Well, he
That's
doesn't
true.
say that exactly, but like that's the whole point, right?
Yeah. But I do think that they wanted us to believe that, right? Because even Tech is suspicious. He's like, "What are you doing? Like, why are you telling him that?"
Right.
But apparently, Echo has a plan. So then they report to Mace, and Mace tells Obi-Wan, saying, "Hey, we got company. They're coming. A lot of them apparently." And I thought this was a funny line. Obi-Wan says back to Mace, he says, "If I know Anakin, we've got the easy part." And boy, that was actually kind of right. All right, we'll get to that in a little bit. But
I don't remember. I guess maybe I wasn't like paying attention specifically during that part, but that's hilarious and
yeah,
true.
very true. Very true. So those droids end up like coming there, right? If I'm not mistaken, that's
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
the
yeah,
next
yeah.
part, right?
Yeah,
Well,
they
first of
march
all,
them all
we get a
in.
dope ass scene of Obi-Wan and Mace kicking some ass, droids not dying when they, or sorry, clones not dying when they should be,
Of course
because
not. No. Why?
it's
Why
it's
would? Why?
Clone Wars. Why
Why
would
would?
the clones be dying?
Why? Yeah. Why? That doesn't make any sense, Aaron. Duh. That's my okay. Just really quick. That's my biggest problem. And you and I have talked about this. And there's another scene later on in the episode where they're running through these hallways and there's tons of battle droids. And one of the Bad Batch members, I always forget his name. Wrecker. Is that his name?
Yep.
The big dude Wrecker. Yeah. He's like, here, take my gun. I'm gonna go take out these 15 battle droids with my bare hands. How is he not getting shot a single time? That doesn't
Oh
make
god. That,
any
yeah,
sense.
we'll get to that here in a second because
Yeah,
I
I'm
have
getting
more to
ahead of
say about that.
myself, but
I have more to say about that. But so let's kind of recap here. The droids are Obi-Wan and Mace killed all of the droids that they were up against. Trench sent all the droids that at his disposal to where Mace and Obi were because Echo told him to. And it made it seem like he was kind of betraying them. But his plan was to send an electromagnetic charge, right, to all of the droids, and he did. He essentially overloaded the servers or something that I don't know what he did, but it killed all the droids. And at that point, that's when I knew that Echo was actually on board and was a part of the Republic still. What about you?
I honestly was still waiting for some sort of master plan for him to fuck them over. Like he was just like that was just like a step number one for him to be like, oh, maybe he's not really a traitor. And then at the end, boom, guess
Flip
what,
the switch.
bitches? Yeah,
Yeah.
flip the switch and be like, you're fucked now. I still belong to the separatists. You're all dead.
And
Well,
at that point, Trench realizes that the signal didn't originate from Skako Miner, and he realized that there's something going on, and that he needs to go to Plan B, and not the abortion pill. Okay, I should probably edit that out. Um, and he's going to Plan B, which is now I don't remember this. I said something when we were watching this. He says wise leaders don't rely just on algorithms.
right.
Now hold on for a second. This let's take that. He is the head of a branch of the separatist army
Right.
in which they employ droids as their army.
Right.
So they don't just rely on algorithms all the time, don't they? Right? I mean, algorithms are what drives computers, and they have a computer army. How do they not just rely on algorithms all the time?
Well, they have a computer army that's led by um, um, biological beings,
but the
right? Like
algorithms
so
make the robots work. Sorry, this,
true.
I don't know. Maybe this
The
is just
algorithms
my
make the robots
programmer
work,
nature.
but the
I
robots
heard that
also are built to obey commands of their leaders.
because of the algorithms,
Because of the algorithm, they're basic algorithms,
because of the
yes, but,
programming.
like, where they go and what they do and how they execute their functions is determined on beings that are not run by algorithms. So, maybe, yes, at the lowest level, they're run by algorithms, but, like, where it's makes sense, where it's important, algorithms and computing aren't part of the process. Am I
That's true.
is that
Yeah, but I just thought it was funny him saying that they don't rely on algorithms when
No,
there
there's
are
definitely no,
driven by algorithms.
there's definitely a sense of irony there for
Yeah,
sure.
but Plan B was a bomb that would be large enough to destroy half of the planet in Axis, right?
Right. Right, because he would rather destroy an Axis than let it fall into the hands of the Republic.
And Anakin, he has a good idea. He's like, well, maybe like Trench would be willing to save himself. So he goes after Trench. Mace goes after the bomb because he wants to try to disarm it.
Right.
Once he gets there, there's a ray shield. He can't do anything. Echo, at this point, he's still tied into the server. While they know that the source originated there in that ship, they don't really know where. And he's still transmitting data to the Republic. And in this case, the decryption code for the bomb. He's sending the signal to Mace to use the
Right.
Force to disarm the bomb.
Yep. One number at a time. But the separatists, Trench and his, team are getting closer and closer as they're trying to disarm this bomb, right?
And eventually, they find out that Echo's doing this, and they overload that server. It makes I honestly thought and kind of wish that Echo was going to die there when they overloaded that, and he kind of like got shocked and had to
Yeah.
back out.
To be honest, that would have been great because again, as we said when we
More
started this
death.
episode, is more death because it's a war and people die during wars, but also I'm fucking tired of the goddamn Echo epic. Like
Yeah.
it's
Nice. Echo
one
Epic.
it's one
Okay.
fucking clone. Let's move the fuck on. Like in the grand scheme of things, they're all insignificant. That was the whole reason they were created.
Exactly. And now, long story short, with this, uh, they end up Mace ends up like disarming the bomb. We'll get to that here in a second. But the what I really want to focus on right now is the scene with Anakin going and finding Trench. It's
Oh
been the best
yeah.
scene so far this season.
Oh yeah. Totally agree, dude. Totally fucking agree. Because he gets up there and he's threatening him, right? Like, hey, give us the because they need the last number, right? They overload the server. Mace still needs one more number to disarm this bomb. So they need one more, and Anakin's like, he gets up there, kills all the droids that surround Trench, and is like, give me the last number, blah blah blah, or I'll, hurt you. And Trench is like, you're a Jedi. You're not going to hurt me.
So the exact wording is he said, "Tell me the number," and then Trench says, "Dooku will kill me if I lose an axis."
Right, yes.
And Anakin says, "You think I won't?" And that's when he's like, "Whoa, you're a Jedi."
Right. Which then gives us the best part of the episode, the best part of the season so far, I think, and I think
Agreed.
we agree on this,
Hmm.
is we're again, we get another peek into Anakin and what his future is to become because he goes all dark side on us there for a bit because he's
Exactly. Because you mentioned recently that like Anakin is this so far in the Clone Wars, this like wise Jedi that it really looks like he would have been promoted to
oh
master
yeah.
eventually, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
and
he's
this is
he's
the
not the
first time this season.
same. Yeah, he's
Sorry, go
not
on.
the same. I was just gonna say, like, so far this season, he is not the same Jedi that we see in episode 3. Like,
Yeah.
not even close.
Hmm.
He's calculated. He makes smart decisions. He's wise. He's powerful when he needs to be. He's supportive. Like, it's not the whiny little bratty teenager. Oh, it's not fair. Blah 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 that we see in episode 2 and consequently episode 3. But this episode gives us that insight, which
They give us a
was
peek
awesome.
into his descent, right?
Yes.
Which
Yeah. Right.
I hope that we see more of going forward. Like that's what I like to see, and we did. We saw that here with him slicing Trench's arms off. Now I don't know if all of them were robotic, but a lot of them were, so maybe it doesn't hurt
Half of
as
them.
bad.
Half of
But
the ones on his left side. So it was kind of like most of his left side was robotic. All the 3 arms he had on his left side were robotic. He had a couple of eyes, and his one mandible on his left side
mhm,
was robotic, so like cyborg, and then his right side was still organic. So he slices off his robotic arms.
yeah, which is and when he does that, you hear a little faint like Imperial March in the background. Not Imperial March, but like Dark Side music. It
Oh
might not
shit!
actually no. It was the Imperial March, but like slowed down kind of in the background. It was I
Re-
don't know. Did you catch that?
I did not. I did not. I got to go back and watch it. I did not catch
Yeah.
that.
So I heard that and I was like, okay, this is I need more of this right now. Give me more. It was awesome.
That's super awesome. And you know what? Like you said this already. We're coming up close on Order 66, and I don't feel like we have enough of Anakin's descent into darkness yet. Like it's not as it just feels like too sudden almost. And then when you look
It
at when
does
you watch the movies, it's too sudden. I want more of that gradual, like, oh, this thing
more of
happened, and
those.
then this thing happened, and then there are some of them in the Clone Wars. I don't
I
think
mean,
there's enough.
he okay, don't get me wrong, Trench ends up like shocking him, right? So Anakin has the lightsaber to his throat, Trench shocks him with something, and Anakin just straight kills him, just lightsaber to the chest.
Stabs him. Yep. And
And I mean, I don't
which was
know,
awesome, which was definitely a moment of I feel like a moment of dark side nature a little bit.
wouldn't you, as a Jedi, like you come back and you're like, all right, what happened on the ship? Like, why do we blow it up? You know what I mean? Why wouldn't they kind of go for a post mortem of what happened on the bridge, Anakin? And he'd be like, well, um, I guess he was about to lunge at me and try and kill me, so I sliced him into pieces.
You know, that's a good question. I wonder because we don't really see that part of the universe, right? It's like, oh,
Mhm.
he died. Why did you do that? Why did you feel that was necessary? Just like at the beginning of episode 3 when Anakin kills Dooku. Why did you feel was it necessary to kill Dooku? Could you not take him? What happened? Let's talk through it. Do you need counseling or some shit? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Just like when
exactly.
just like when cops shoot people.
Dude, I had that exact thought when I was saying it earlier. I didn't want to bring it up, but you did. So good for you.
But I mean, it's kind of it's almost sort of that same principle, right? Like Jedi are supposed to be the protectors. They're the maybe not the police of the universe. Every different planet has their own um policing
Security force,
system. Right. Jedi are more like galaxy wide. I feel
protectors of
like
the
they're
peace.
protectors of the peace, which means that they're not supposed to just kill people willy nilly without it being absolutely necessary. So when it happens, I feel like the council should be questioning every single detail
Every
about that
incident.
event.
Yeah.
Right. And they maybe they do, but we don't see that in any of this media.
So at this point, we think that maybe Mace is fucked. I mean, obviously we don't because we know Mace is gonna survive, but he's trying to disarm the bomb. The Bad Batch is trying to escape the ship, go back to their Imperial shuttle or whatever it is,
Right.
and get back onto that so they can fly away. But they run into some resistance. And this is what you brought up earlier, where you brought up
Right.
about how Wrecker and him going through this hallway full of troopers. Go Go and run that down.
Yeah, so I mean, and again, I think it's just a problem in general with the Clone Wars as a whole is that there's not enough. It's not an accurate representation of war as it should be. Granted, again, this is a children's TV show. Okay, I get it, but like more so it's basically, and again, it's Disney, so it's okay for robots to die because they're not alive, but when living creatures die, it's a big deal and they have to do it in certain ways and it can't be done, can only be done so often and blah 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 blah. But this is another, again, great example of that because they're running through these corridors trying to get back to the ship, and there's tons of battle droids firing all kinds of bullets. And Wrecker, one of the Bad Batch members, it's just like, fuck this, take my gun. I'm going to run out into that hallway and beat the shit out of them with my hands, even though there's 20 plus of them and they all have blasters and I could get shot in the face. But of course, that's not going to happen because it's a Disney cartoon.
Well, they could at least make it so that maybe he had extra armor or something like that. Like make some of the
Make it
blaster bolts
believable.
like blast off him a little bit.
Right.
Like,
Right.
but to tell me that he can run down that hallway and not get hit at all doesn't make sense. Literally doesn't make sense at all.
Doesn't make sense at all. However, this whole sequence did give us a pretty dope ass moment because Crosshair, another one of the Bad Batch members, who's the sniper of their group, at some point starts running down the hallways and throwing these little seemingly magnetic sensors of some
Do
kind
you
against
remember?
the wall.
You asked me. You're like, what did he throw there? Like,
Yeah.
why does that make sense? He just shot the droid, and after throwing it, doesn't make sense.
Right. He threw it at a battle droid, and there was like a group of them coming towards him. He threw one of these things at it and then just shot it in the face and then shot the other ones in the face. I'm like, why did he throw that at it? What was the point of what does that thing do? Like, why don't you just shoot him instead of wasting? I thought it was some sort of explosive device. To
That's
be
what I
honest,
thought.
that was my first thought, right? So then he's running through the hallways and throwing these things everywhere, and then catches back up with the rest of the group because he's trailing behind, turns around, and then there's all these battle droids walking towards them, takes his sniper rifle and aims it at the battle droids, but turns to the right instead of shooting the droids, shoots it at one of these things that he's been throwing along the walls, and turns out it's some sort of reflective device. So he shoots the bolt at it, and that single bolt reflects off the walls onto all of the other reflective things that he threw on the walls and destroys every single battle droid that was walking down the corridor.
And it was awesome.
It was so dope. It was totally
Like,
unexpected too, because I was like, what is he doing? I thought he was throwing all these things so that when they left, he would hit a button and the ship would explode or something like that, right? That's kind of what I assumed.
that's what I thought was going to happen too. And then, like, so he's doing that while he's running down the hallway. He's chucking it, right? But he has to do it
Yeah.
so precisely
Oh yeah.
because and that's why he is named Crosshair. He knows what he's doing, and that's
Right.
so fucking cool.
Because he literally fired one bolt, and that single bolt reflected off the one device to the next one, to the next device, to the next device, and those
And it
had to
killed
be
the entire
thrown
hallway.
in a precise manner. Otherwise, it would have reflected off the one device and hit the wall, and then it would have been done. But no,
Yeah,
it didn't. It kept bouncing off of device and it just, when it was going from
all the way down the hallway.
sensor to sensor or whatever you want to call them, it was destroying all the droids as it went, and it was one of the coolest things and
And it
unexpected
was cool
things.
because I don't know if you remember the line that someone said to Hunter, right?
Yeah.
Someone was like, "Oh, you'll get him someday. Like you'll
It was-
beat him someday or something like that, right?"
It was
like a competition.
Wrecker, because it was Wrecker. Wrecker was pissed that Crosshair killed more droids than he did.
Exactly, and I mean, so to compare the two ways in which they killed that hallway of droids, like, I mean, obviously Crosshairs was so much better, and it was so much more fun to watch. So obviously he's going to do better, you know?
And it made more sense too. Like what oh, there's a barrage of blaster bolts coming at me. Take my gun. I'm just gonna run out there and beat him with my fists.
They
No,
literally
dude,
said like, "Oh, we're
you're
going
not.
to be outrun or something like that," and he's like, "Oh, I got this. Helmet down. Somehow avoid all the lasers." I don't know.
You're not Mace Windu, bro. Mace Windu can do that, but he's got the power of the Force. He's one of the most badass Jedi in the galaxy. You're a fucking clone. You're a defective clone at that. Like, let's get that straight. Not that you're not skilled, but like the
Wait,
reason you are the way that you are is because you had some sort of mutation or gene fuck up that made you the way that you are.
exactly.
Uh-uh.
So, all
Whatever.
right. After that, that's pretty much it, right? The bomb is disarmed because Anakin was able to get it from Trench. He kills Trench, grabs a little explosive device, leaves, gets back on to that Imperial shuttle, and they're homebound, and they win. Wrecker blows up the ships. That explosion was dope. Do you remember that? And like all the
Yeah,
colors
it,
and
it
shit.
was like a rainbow
It's
explosion. It
trippy.
was yeah, it was dope.
Kind of wish I was high watching it, but I wasn't.
They
Not that I condone that, but
there was a bunch of never mind. Uh so that's not it though. That's not it. Because
gets better.
the end of the episode, we have a little moment with Echo and Bad Batch and Rex. Something else that I didn't really expect.
Very touching.
It was very touching, but this whole episode was kind of like unexpected Echo moments because we both thought that like he's still connected to the Separatists, he's gonna betray them. He didn't. And then this thing
And
comes up.
also, well, to keep in mind, Bad Batch were amongst the ones who were saying, "Yo, Echo might be betraying us," right? Like we need to keep an eye
Exactly.
on him, make sure that he's actually has our best interest at heart. And Rex was all like, "No, he definitely does." So Bad Batch didn't really trust him, right?
Exactly, which makes this turn of events even less unlikely, I think. But basically, to keep a long story short, they I don't remember who it was. Was it
Hunter, it was
was it
Hunter.
Hunter who initially walked up to him and was like,
Yeah.
"Hey, do you think you really still belong?"
As like a deformed one could say, like, if you were to be placed into a good batch or a bad batch of clones, now granted that you have no arms or legs, you're probably a bad batch member.
He has legs and he has arm. He just is missing his one part
Robotic.
of his arm. Whatever. Either way, the point is that they were basically being like, "Hey, maybe you belong with us now. You know, you're different. You went through all these things. Do you really belong where you used to belong?" Right?
Hmm.
And Echo kind of has this self-seeking moment where
Essentially
he like
inviting
thinks
him,
about it.
saying, if you
Right.
feel like it, like, join us, brother. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like,
Right.
you
Exactly.
belong with us more than you do them.
At this point anyway, after everything that he's went through, right? And then Rex comes up and he's like, "Listen, I think you need to make your own decisions. If you belong with them, then that's where you belong, and I
Which
totally
is
support it."
like touching, because another thing that Rex says is, he says, quote, "Those are some of the finest troopers I've ever fought alongside." Like,
Right, which is
if you
totally
think
the
about where we were
opposite.
3 episodes ago, right?
Right.
Totally opposite.
Totally the opposite of when we first started this season.
So, uh like you said, he said, if you feel like you belong there, we go way back, but I ain't gonna stop you. Like, that's where you belong.
Yeah, and that's basically how it ends because Rex turns around, Echo walks towards Bad Batch, turns around, they salute each other, and now seemingly Echo is Bad Batch is a crew of 5 instead of 4.
And it makes sense. Actually, what part would he be now? Like, Tech is the tech guy.
You know,
Echo is what? The
that's a
droid guy? I don't know.
good question, man. Who the fuck knows?
But I like it. I think it makes sense. He's not like the other or I said droids. Not like the other clones, which are like droids, but
Yeah,
not because they have their own personalities, but so do droids apparently. So I don't know. I don't know how it works,
Dude,
but
I like it too, and if it's gonna get us off this whole fucking Echo story, I'm all about it because I want to
move
move on
forward.
to the next thing. We're already 4 episodes in, we don't have that many episodes left. I wanna see more
We're
shit that
apparently,
isn't about one single fucking clone that is insignificant in the grand scheme of things because we've never even heard of Echo until this show started, so he clearly doesn't even matter in the main storyline because otherwise we would have known about him in the movies, but we don't.
you know who we haven't seen yet?
Ahsoka.
Ahsoka. 4 episodes in.
Dude,
We're a
seriously,
third of
like
the way in, and apparently, allegedly, a fourth of the way in, but like or third, but we haven't seen Ahsoka yet.
that was the part I was most excited for about this season is Ahsoka coming back and like what that dynamic was going to be like, how she's grown, what her relationship with Anakin's going to be like, what she's going to add to the story, what her part in Order 66 is going to be. Like all of that stuff is super interesting to me and we haven't even fucking seen her yet, man.
And it's
It's
pretty
4
interesting
episodes.
too,
They
right?
could have
Like
done all of this bullshit in 2 episodes, in my
they
opinion.
really
You
could have.
didn't need to drag it out like that. I mean, come on. Unless you're planning on doing 20 some episodes, which I don't think that they are. Where I mean, I think the general consensus is it's going to be like episode 6, where it was like what 12 or 14 or something like that.
Yeah.
Which those 12 episodes were baller and had lots of really great content. So far,
So,
this season
according to
is not.
Wikipedia, there's only 12 episodes.
See, like
So
they
we
need.
don't have time.
We're a
to
third of the
get
way
on with it.
through, man. Like, let's come on. Let's
So
move the fuck on with this shit.
moving forward, apparently next week's episode is called "Gone with a Trace," not without. Gone with a trace. Gone with the wind. Gone with a trace. Don't know much about it outside of that. Do you have any predictions? Anything?
Could that be referring to Ahsoka? Because she was gone, but now she's back, so she wasn't gone without a trace.
That is good. Yeah, I think based off of that,
I
I'm gonna
fucking hope
say
so, man. Like, I'm
we're gonna
tired of this
see
shit.
Ahsoka next episode. I do.
I really hope so. What age do you think? Like, where do you think she's gonna be at? Like, how long has
Well,
it been since?
I don't think it's been that long. I don't think it's gonna be. She can't be much older, right? Like
I don't know. I honestly
between
don't know.
episode 2 and 3, it's 3 years total. So they had to work within that bound.
Uh-huh.
Without outside of that, that's fine. Within like Rebels is 4 years before episode 4, I think. So that would be about 15 years later. So Ahsoka could be like better in terms of having trained herself and that sort of shit. But I think right
That's
now
a good point.
it's a couple weeks later, a couple months tops.
That's a good point. I keep thinking about her in like the sense of Rebels, where she's like aged a lot and become way more badass. Also, you know what else? I want to see what's gonna happen. Darth Maul. He's still out there, dude. Like he's still going. He's going to be a part of. We know he's going to be a part of this season, and he has yet to even be mentioned. Like let's
That's
get the
very
ball
true.
rolling, dude. There's a lot of fucking shit to cover. We've already wasted 4 episodes on a single worthless fucking clone.
All right,
What
so
the fuck's going on?
here's the thing. I'm on IMDb right now on season 7, right after Unfinished Business aired. All right, that's episode 4.
Uh-huh.
This does indicate that there's only going to be 12 episodes.
Okay.
Right. They don't have all the episode titles. They do for the next one will be Gone with a Trace. Episode 6 will be Deal or No Deal. So Howie Mandel is going to be in episode 6. I think that's confirmed at this point.
That's
But
the stupidest name for a Star Wars episode I've ever heard in my entire life.
so going forward with that, we don't have any images on any of the episodes. Any of the episodes. But episode 10, it's just called on the IMDb page is episode episode 710. So season 710. It does have Darth Maul in the image. It's the only other one that has an image.
For which episode?
Episode 10. Yeah, I'll send you
It
the
better
link.
not. We better not be waiting until episode 10 to see Darth Maul for the first time, dude.
I know, but we at least will see him, and that's a positive.
Well,
I mean, we
we
know
know
what you're
we're gonna
going.
see him because we've seen the trailer, right? I mean,
Yeah,
we know we're going to see him. I just wanted to see him a lot sooner. Like I don't know. Where we only have 12 episodes left. I wanted to see a lot more
like 8
things.
left at
I
this
want
point.
Well, sorry, I meant like at the beginning of the season, we only had 12 episodes left. There was a lot of things I wanted to see. None of them included 4 episodes about a single fucking clone that we thought was dead.
Echo. At least we got to see like Mace Windu, Obi-Wan kind of do some badass stuff there. I think that was fun. We got to see Anakin kind of tap into the dark side, which is dope. I like to see that.
Yes,
Hopefully we
there
see
were
more of that going forward.
some cool moments there, but this is there were every episode has had some moments that were like, "Oh, that was cool. Oh, that was cool." But overall, I'm looking at overall like plot line, and there's lots of things that I really hope we see happen that I just don't think we're gonna get to see.
I agree. But I
However,
guess
it
I'll have to
can't
wait
be as
till next
bad.
week. What were you saying?
I was just saying it can't be as bad as the Disney trilogy. So at least we
Not even
have
close.
that to look forward to.
That's true. This is way better than that already. We can all agree to that.
100%.
All right. So from here, I think we're good. We'll wait till Friday when we're probably still in quarantine or social distancing, whatever.
Yeah, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm excited. This has been great season so far. I want to see more, and we'll see where we go from here. What do you think?
I like it, man. Again, like we said earlier, I still have faith in Dave Filoni. I hope the season turns out great. I don't really have beliefs that it won't. I think it'll still be awesome.
Yeah,
So
especially as we see Ahsoka, the best character of the Clone Wars. As
it's just
she's
getting
coming
off to
back.
a slow start, right? I mean, that's really all it is. I think we were just hoping since it was only 12 episodes left that it would be everything we wanted right off the bat. They're just kind of building up to it. Hopefully. I mean, I don't know. We'll see, I guess, but
All right, so well, we want to thank everybody. Hit us up on all the social medias at RoTKast RoTKast.com, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Sean, you have anything else?
just to echo what you said, man, thanks everybody for tuning in. I hope you guys keep listening. Stay safe out there, and as always, may the force be with you.
Peace.